So I'm going to attempt to do the best I can with being completely live on video. I am at Table Rock Lake in Beaver, Arkansas, close to Eureka Springs. And the reason that I'm here, not only is it to visit a friend, but this is one of the areas, Table Rock Lake. Jason and Gerald and I all visited a couple of different times at a Christian summer camp by the name of Kanakuk Kanakomo way back in the day. And so this is one of the places that brings peace. Sorry, my dog is growling. And wanted to share some stories about Jason. Being 7 years younger and Jason's kid sister, I have lots and lots and lots of stories, as well as Gerald does. But the thing about Jason is he had this incredible smile and most infectious wit and sense of humor. And that guy could giggle and laugh, and it was the best. And so just like the Alison Krauss song, When You Say Nothing at All, whether Jason would talk or whether he was just in your presence, it was always the most perfect thing. He could make you smile, he could make you laugh, and by golly, that boy can pray. That's one of the best things about him, is he always knew exactly what you needed at the time. Such an amazing, amazing friend, brother, father, uncle, son. Jason was one of a kind. And anybody who knew him knew how precious he was. So, as kids, we constantly got into as normal, typical mischievous behavior, as kids usually do. One of the things that I remember growing up, our family has this incredible cabin up in Ute Park, New Mexico, not too far from Red River. And as siblings, we used to go on random hikes behind the cabin. And we'd cross over Ute Creek, and one of the things our parents always warned us about is all the rattlesnakes up there. And of course, you know, being country kids and from small town America, we always were about safety first. And so Jason, being the oldest, 7 years older than me and 4 years older than Gerald, or 3 years older than Gerald, whatever, and Jason would lead the pack. And he had such an incredible imagination. So since snakes were one of the things that we had to avoid and always be on watch for, Mom and Dad always made us wear cowboy boots, and we used to roll our eyes, or like, I can't believe they're making us wear cowboy boots in the summer with long pants and jeans and it's hot outside. But Jason would say, look, I'm going to take care of Gerald and Janelle, and we're going to go on a hike, and we're going to have a grand old time. So Jason would head out the hike, and he would pretend to be Moses. And he would part the Red Sea, aka we'd cross the creek, and he'd figure out where to go and how we could get across it. And then he also we'd go over the river and through the woods, or over the creek and through the woods. And anytime he thought there could be a rattle of a rattlesnake or some other critter, but especially snakes, he would say, by the command of Moses, I turn you into a stick. So any snakes became sticks. And so even though we did run across a few snakes here and there, he always kept us safe, but there was plenty of long sticks that resembled snakes, and we could have sworn he actually did turn them into snakes on these crazy hikes that we did. And so even as adults and as a father, he used to take Jillian, Jenna, and Jura across Ute Creek and to the same little area that we did, and there was a little graveyard over there and just beautiful places. And so we always joke, okay Jason, are you gonna play Moses today, and are you gonna turn any snakes into sticks, or is it just gonna be a normal hike? So that was one silly little story that every time I crossed that creek at the cabin, I will always think of that. The front porch of the cabin is also our safe haven. As Whiteheads, we have this beautiful, beautiful gene in our DNA that is the stubborn gene for some people, but we call it dogged determinedness. And so if we need to accomplish something, we may, on the outside world, seem a little stubborn, but it's because it's something that we believe in our core and that we know with the best of intentions that we're doing something that is right. Whether it's for family, whether it's for faith, whether it's a culture, building a culture that is important for our family and as a legacy, to teach our kids to embrace life for all the blessings that we have. Jason, Gerald, and I have an amazing, unique relationship. And as siblings are, we had our times where we would bicker and fight, and I can't believe how many times my dad would pull over the van on the side of the road. You kids, if y'all don't stop fighting, I'm gonna break out my belt or whatever. And he always threatened, but I never remember anything other than wisdom coming out of my father. My parents are the most incredible people. And Jason being the firstborn, he was a natural born leader, but for a while, as he called it, he was just a shepherd boy. He had so many analogies. Jason was a master carpenter. He could build cabinets and windows and houses, and had such incredible talent and skills, incredible artist. And one of the days that he was having a rough time, I said, Jason, you're so incredibly talented. You're such an amazing carpenter. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I love to work with my hands. He goes, Jesus was a carpenter. And I always wanted to be like him. And believe me, the last couple of weeks and months to current, Jason and I spent a lot of time on the phone. And sometimes he would say nothing at all, but we'd share a moment. And other times we'd pray together. Sometimes we'd cry together. We definitely laughed together. But he always was present. He always loved. He always cared. And the fact that he and Gerald had such an incredible relationship, and he and I did. He called my mom almost every day. He loved my father, our father. And he was, the only reason that they would bicker is because Jason was exactly like Dad. He was exactly like Jerry Whitehead in so many different ways. So the last story is, I can't even believe I remember this. So my dad spent, I think, about 6 weeks in Mexico City teaching art. And he developed a relationship with a beautiful family, Mario Badilla, and so somehow he managed to make it where Jason could go and visit and spend a couple of weeks. Maybe it was only a week, I can't really remember. But Jason was down living in Mexico with his family, and my parents were hoping that he'd learn a little Spanish and, you know, maybe some culture things and stuff along those lines, being small. I can't remember exactly how old he was. I think he was about the same age as my son Josh. Maybe 9, maybe a little older than that. But anyways, once Jason came back from Mexico, my dad asked him, "So Jace, did you learn any Spanish? Did you learn some Spanish words?" And Jason's like, "Yeah, I learned how to say thank you in Spanish." And my dad was like, "Well, what's that word?" And Jason goes, "Muchas galoshes." My dad was like, "Galoshes?" He goes, "Yeah, galoshes means thank you in Spanish." So every time I see a pair of rain boots, galoshes, I always think, thank you. Thank you for rain boots. Thank you for silly stories. Thank you for life. And most of all, thank you for family. I do believe I have the best family in the world. And although from the outside people may not understand all the dynamics that go into families, each family is incredibly unique. We are all a part of the great I Am. The Lord has blessed us. And I know my brother today is shining down on us, sitting on a cloud, hanging out with Nanny and Pappy, rejoicing, singing with the angels. Truly, best brother ever. I have 2 incredible ones. One just happens to be hanging up in the sky. He loved music. Every part of this ceremony is about music and life and celebration and really treasuring the things that we have. So thank you for the time to share this. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the friendship for Jason. The last message that he got to hear was from the Community Worship Center, and it was all about gathering together. And I think that's the message going forth from today. Gather with your loved ones, gather with family, gather with friends. None of us are perfect, but we're all created in His image. We are all part of the great I Am. Gather, have fellowship, laugh. Growing up, we loved Grady Nutt. Grady Nutt was a traveling evangelist comedian. And as funny as he was and all the stories that he had, he also had incredible serious messages. And the quote that gets me through every day is that laughter is the hand of God on the shoulder of a troubled world. And as hard as it is to say goodbye to Jace, he's always in our hearts. He had infectious laughter, he had an amazing smile, and those beautiful blue eyes could see right through you and touch your heart. So I ask that when you laugh, when you smile, when you think of all the silly things that happen in life, treasure them. Treasure your family, treasure your friends, because this life is too short. But we get to rejoice in heaven. As believers, we get to be together again at some point. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time with us. From all of the Whitehead family, extended family, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for celebrating Jason's life today and always. Laughter is the hand of God on the shoulder of the troubled world. Laugh, smile, cherish each moment. It's about faith, it's about family, it's about culture, and it's up to you to create the culture for your life moving forward. Thank you.